Critical Thinking, presented by Brooke and Burns. How do you think? The extent of how we think is determined by the perception and process we break subjects, content, problems, and encounters down. With critical thinking, we work to reduce or eliminate bias, distortion, partial judgment, uninformed decisions, and potential prejudice. The way we as individuals think affect our response, attitude, and action to any situation, subject, content, problem, and/or encounter. It is very common for people to think based on what they know or have experienced. This process is not one that is instantly attainable or applied, but instead requires a systematic approach through application. One of the key aspects of being able to think critically is attained through being able to read critically. Andrea Lunsford stated that reading critically means asking questions about the meaning of text and how that meaning is presented, or about the author's purpose for creating the text. In doing so, the author does not accept the text as is, however, takes the time to analyze the content and conviction of the text. This process is done through 4 steps. The 4 steps to reading critically are preview, annotate, summarize, and analyze. Previewing the information before providing a response or interpretation is very important. This aspect of critical thinking allows a person to identify any potential area which may deter from the adequate retention of information. What do you know, not know, or have a personal opinion about? Context. You want to ensure that you are receiving the information in its most original form and that the information is current. Do you remember the game Telephone? When the person repeated the message, it was clear and concise, but by the time the message was at its end, it was jumbled and skewed. This is a perfect example of how important the receipt of information is. We want to ensure that the information we are applying is current and up to date. Author. Are the credentials of the author validated? This is a very important aspect, as you do not want to make a decision or develop a thought based on information that is not supported from a reliable, educated source. Subject. Are your personal opinions or beliefs on the subject going to sway your outlook on it? Being impartial on a subject lessens the chance of biased thinking. Genre. Understand the audience and demographic. If you are not familiar about a certain genre, this may affect the way in which your information is received. Design. Presentation is important. The commonly heard phrase, "don't judge a book by its cover," can easily be used in this sentence. Become familiar visually with what you are working with or trying to understand. Don't let the design sway your initial outlook, and make sure you are able to relate the design to the text. After previewing the information, make annotations about any key or questionable information. That's what messed me up on the other one.
It'll just be one.
It is important to take note of information being received. Annotation plays 2 roles of highlighting key points or terms, as well as noting any areas of concern or confusion. Confusion. Make note of any unclear text. Key terms or ideas. Understanding the key terms, ideas, and concepts are very important as they are focal points on conveying the subject, issues, and topic at hand. These also relate to images. Being able to relate images to concepts and topics are very important. References. Ensure that the information contained or relayed comes from a reliable source. Presentation. Does the presentation relate and help support the subject, issue, topic, and concept? Is it what you would thought it would be? Assumptions. Right or wrong, What do you agree or what do you disagree with? Write these aspects down. If your assumption is not supported, this offers the reader the opportunity to further research a topic that may have been otherwise influenced. Purpose. Is the layout and information supporting the text? Media. Make sure the media supports the text. Writing a book about dogs and having pictures of cats offers the reader poor correlation. After reading the text, the summary offers the reader a quick overview of the main idea, key points, and essential evidence to the text. The summary is essential because it allows a reader a quick pinpoint to comprehend unfamiliar text. When reading a summary, all correlation of information throughout the text should be easily comprehended. Without notes, look back and try to identify the main points of the text without applying personal interpretation. Once the summary is complete, conduct an analysis about the text. What do you want the reader to take away? Refer back to the beginning at the preview stage. Now analyze the situation after reviewing all information provided. This step ties together the process of critical thinking. Main points. Can a reader understand and identify the main point of the text, either implied or explicit? What is your stance on the main points? Do your thoughts impact the main points? Evidence or examples. Are points supported by adequate and valid evidence, or should there be more? Opposing viewpoints. Always identify any contradicting views. It is important to understand opposing views, information, as this offers the ability to see the full spectrum of an instance or subject comprehensively. Sources. As stated earlier, using a reference from valid sources are important. People are more inclined to accept a supported statement, claim, or viewpoint when it is supported by a reliable source. Validity. Any assumption made are supported by the text. If a reader is led to make an assumption, is that assumption supported by the sources? Applying these 4 steps when approaching a subject or a situation offers critical thinking and the ability to persuade an audience. Critical thinking allows the opportunity to look outside the box. Critical thinking requires a reader or writer to think outside the box. This type of thinking offers the explanation and deliverance of a subject, content, or dilemma from a multi-faced approach. Critical thinking offers a non-biased approach to a particular subject, situation, or problem. This process offers individuals the ability to provide a self-guided thought which is made through supported, valid information. The importance of critical thinking offers thought outside of everyday norms. It makes a reader or writer ask questions and think of instances in a broader range.